One of the things we look at is the sales to investment ratio when we're making recommendations and seeing, what opportunities that we think present a good opportunity for our clients that we're working with, and especially the franchises that we highlight here. They decided to look at some more service-based opportunities that were way lower in startup cost, and they wind up buying a cleaning and restoration franchise, able to secure a really significant territory in Florida. But it just shows, that the franchise that they bought into is the people that are the most successful in not just franchises, but in business, are the people who are working their ass off in their businesses. There's a lot of people, franchise brokers, consultants, and just all sorts of things that'll sell you the dream of passive income. I just personally think it's a myth. It does not exist until you've... Welcome to our Franchise Empire newsletter, where we highlight one franchise of the week as well as one franchise resale that is listed for sale somewhere in the United States. If you want to get these franchises in your inbox every single week to read at your convenience, you can go to franchiseempire.com/newsletter to subscribe for free. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Franchise Empire Show. They say Rome wasn't built in a day, and building your empire doesn't happen overnight. My name is Tarek Johnson, and owning franchises is what helped me go from employee to employer and start building my empire for my family. So this podcast is for you, the empire builders. For those of you who want to build something that stands the test of time. This is for those of you who are crazy enough to believe that you can make the dream in your head come to life. This podcast is all about bringing you real people who are building real empires so you can get inside their mind and heart and get proven strategies and actionable insights that will catapult you to build, grow, and scale your empire. Today, we are going to cover a franchise sales that has average sales of over $1 million. With less than $250,000 in startup costs. We're also going to cover a resale showing $190,000 in owner's earnings. That is based out of Maryland. We'll talk about a couple who saved themselves $1 million in avoiding buying the wrong franchise, as well as a guy who owns 13 juice bar locations and how much money they make. We're going to make this one pretty quick. I am wearing glasses. As you can see, I scratched my eye this weekend, and the only glasses, I usually wear contacts. The only glasses I have are like 10 years old. So I'm at about like 50 or 60% vision right now. And so we're gonna knock this out pretty quick. For those of you who are here live, thanks for tuning in. If you're watching on the replay, drop a comment and just let me know that you're watching the replay. If you're watching live, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up, whether you're watching on YouTube or LinkedIn or whatever it is, helps to show it to more people. So the resale that we have for you guys, this one is called Gotcha Covered. Gotcha Covered is a competitor to budget blinds, right? Similar to that space where they provide window blinds, shutters, drapes, curtains, shades. And they started franchising in 2009. They have 155 franchise units throughout the country. And their parent company is a company called 5 Star Franchising. This is in North Baltimore. This specific resale started in 2019. Let's see if I can make this any bigger for my struggling eyes. 2023 revenue of $734,000, asking price of $450,000. The SDE. So SDE means seller discretionary earnings. So if you're not familiar with that phrase, it's very common with resales, or you see businesses to buy available. And basically what it means is it's whatever the owner's, let's say, profits plus whatever the owner's paying themselves plus whatever financial benefit they're getting from the business. So if they are paying for their cell phone bill, or they're paying for their car payment, or they have various expenses that they're paying, that gets added into the SDE number typically. Seems like I'm lagging. Seems like the I don't know if it's just an internet connection on my end. We have another hurricane that's going to be coming through this week, unfortunately. And I think this one will be passing right over where we live in Florida. Hopefully everyone stays safe out there. Crazy to see just the devastation that the last one brought to Florida and North Carolina. So this particular resale, they've done 1,100 installs, 200 5-star reviews since 2020. They've done 270 installs in 2023. It's a huge territory, which includes 10 zip codes in North Baltimore, almost 200 Google reviews with an average rating of 4.9. So our take, it's a great opportunity to step into a profitable, well-run home services franchise in a very large market. According to the FDD, the average sales for Gotcha Covered was $590K. So this location is performing above average with a lot of opportunity for growth. So if you're interested in this specific resale, then you can go to franchiseempire.com/resale so our team can get you connected with it. Or if you just want to know what resales are available in your specific market, go to franchiseempire.com/resales and you can schedule a brief meeting with our team so that they can check. Other than that, let's see. I forgot to put this bad boy up here. Where is it? If you don't get these in your inbox every week, then go to franchiseempire.com/newsletter to make sure that you're going to get these emails every Sunday morning when we send them out. All right, quick client case study. So Nina was a client of ours, Nina and Brent, a couple, and she worked in IT, husband a financial advisor, and they were looking for a franchise for Nina to run full time. And so when they first started working with us or were interested in working with us, they were really far down the path with a high investment coffee franchise that was going to cost about $1 million per location. And I believe they were planning to sign an agreement to open multiple. And so, but they were feeling, nervous and uncomfortable about that, and just thinking, hey, if we're going to put this much money into something, we should really cross our T's, dot our I's, and just know what else is available. So they found us, and they joined our zero to profitable franchise system, which is our more holistic way that we work with clients, as opposed to just the direct matchmaking broker component. We give them a whole online curriculum, walk them through due diligence, all this cool stuff. And so they decided to look at some more service-based opportunities that were way lower in startup cost. And they wound up buying a cleaning and restoration franchise, able to secure a really significant territory in Florida. And, they do water restoration, mold remediation, stuff like that. And so it's a great fit for Nina, especially with her project management background. There's a lot of, project management, of course, because you're basically running a construction company. And this part is bittersweet, but, Nina already has a bunch of actually large jobs lined up. And part of that was because of the hurricane that came through. They're in a market in Florida that, that was impacted, and they've gotten some other pretty large projects. So, they're off to a good start, but it just shows, that the franchise that they bought into is less than 250, 300K. And that was to get multiple territories, as opposed to they were going to do a retail, coffee chain, like as if we need more coffee chains, and, $1 million to open up. That's one location. It's going to take a year to get open. I mean, she was up and running within a few months after signing a franchise agreement, because it's service-based business. So our team have looked into a few hundred franchises and put together a list of 5 low-cost franchises that all make $1 million or more, and that have a proven track record of both happy and profitable franchisees. So if you have a net worth of at least $150,000 and you want to see if the territory that you want is still available for any of these franchises, then you can go to franchiseempire.com/check territory. All right, let's get back to the episode. You get your vans, a little bit of equipment, and that's it. You're ready to rock and roll. So for those of you who, if you just want to get some professional guidance and you're thinking, hey, I'm not sure which franchise I want to buy. I want some help figuring that out, figuring out what are the good options out there available in my market. Um, and you just want some help like throughout the due diligence process overall, then go to franchiseempire.com. So you'll go to this website, Franchise Empire, and there's this blue button. It says schedule a free call. That will be a Zoom call, by the way, a Zoom meeting, because we like to meet and be able to see your face. It's a more natural human interaction. Click there, and if you qualify, you have to, meet the financial requirements and all those things, because in order to buy a franchise, that's how it works. Click that button, you'll be able to schedule a free call with the team, and we'll be able to see, kind of what your goals are, what you've been doing to try to search for a franchise, understand your skill sets, a bunch of different things, all the things that we do that has our zero to profitable franchise system having a 89% higher success rate than people who just work with a traditional broker. All right, let's talk about the franchise of the week. And by the way, if you guys have questions as I'm going through this, um, you can go ahead and drop them below. Although, my goodness, with my eyesight, it's so hard to see right now. Okay, franchise of the week is Floor Coverings International. This is actually a franchise that one of our clients have bought, and I know that they are doing well. They're one of the top performing new franchisees in the system. But Floor Coverings International, a corporate location, started in 1988. They started franchising 1 year later, 1989. Parent company is FS Brands. They have 252 franchise units, ladies and gentlemen. That's a lot of franchise units. And again, if you're not familiar with that term, that's not how many franchise owners they have. But if let's say every owner owned 2 units, then there would be 126 franchisees. Are you impressed by that quick math? Dividing by 2. uh our son is 5, and he he's learning math and stuff, and so he's kind of doing these things like adding by 7, right, or adding by 12 or 14 or whatever it is, and like go as far as you can. And so like I'll do it and I'll get into the hundreds. I'm doing it real quick, and he's so impressed by the fact that I'm just like adding up these simple numbers. So that was kind of a joke at that. Anyways, the franchise fee is $53,000. Royalty is 5%. Marketing fee 3%. The investment range is between 180 to 243. So this is like a great example. Like, people look at food franchises and look at these franchises that cost $3, $4, $5, $600,000 to get open, and the average sales don't show better than some of these, right? Like, when we go over their average sales, obviously it's over $1 million. We because that's in the title. But you like people that come and like, I want to open up a juice bar or an acai bowl place or whatever it is, and it's like 400 grand to get up and running, 400 or 500 grand, and a lot of the times the average sales are not impressive. So one of the things we look at is the sales to investment ratio when we're making recommendations and seeing what opportunities that we think present a good opportunity for our clients that we're working with, and especially the franchises that we highlight here. And by the way, when you see a franchise here, part of our business and the way that we generate revenue and keep this business going and doing these newsletters is making that introduction to the franchisor. So, just out of respect, if you see a franchise here that we talk about, we would prefer that you reach out to us so we can make that introduction to the franchisor, since we're the ones that expose you to it, and that's part of how we get compensated here at Franchise Empire. And it's a win-win for everyone, because before watching, you probably had no idea, right? So Floor Covering International, they do carpeting, hard and soft floor coverings, right? So they're a flooring company, basically, ladies and gentlemen, in case you couldn't figure that out with the name. And it's a pretty simple business overall. you'll go into people's homes and do an assessment, figure out kind of what kind of flooring and improvements that they want to make, and that's it. You'll have a small little kind of warehouse office, but doesn't need to be a place where customers go. You'll meet the customers at their house, and that's the name of the business: generating leads and closing deals, right? So when we look at the numbers, gross revenue installed for calendar and landed for year 2023, I think landed means sold, and then installed is obviously the job's done. So you could sell a job, as an example, in November or December, but maybe it doesn't get actually installed until January, February, depending upon the lead time, et cetera. So you have 138 reporting franchisees that they showed average sales installed just over $1 million. And average gross revenue landed almost 1.1 million. Shows the amount of leads, proposals, success rate, which is pretty cool because this sort of business is a numbers game. And so it's awesome that they show all this detail in their FTD, in their item 19, by the way. So again, like this, you're talking about. And now, granted, okay, let me just be fair real quick. All reporting franchisees, so some of these franchisees could own multiple territories, right? So, adding an additional territory would probably be another 40. You usually get a discount on the second one, so maybe 45 grandish for a second territory. So just add that to the bottom of here, right? So it'd be like, let's say 230 to between 300 to have, let's say, 2 territories. But still way cheaper than like any sort of like retail business that you would have to open up. And in terms of other numbers, what's cool is that they show the numbers based on, hey, if you've been in operation over 2 years, or if you've been in operation for between 1 and 2 years, which is pretty cool to see. And what's interesting is to see that the people that have been open for over 2 years have a higher average job size. Oh, my mouse is not showing up on the screen, but that number is 7744. And so the people that have been open just over a year, less than 2 years, have $6,155. So their average job size is $1,600 less, which is quite significant. I mean, if you multiply, if they're landing how many jobs, proposals. So if there's 348 proposals on average, and the success rate is 40%, that's about what? 70, about 140 jobs. So if you multiply 140 jobs times $1,600, that's an additional $225,000 of revenue that's being missed with some of those earlier franchisees having a lower average job size. So, again, this is a numbers type of business. Really, any sort of service business like this, it's how much can you acquire customers for? So based on your lead cost, what's your conversion rates, and then what's your average ticket and your lifetime value of those customers? Those are things that we talk about in our franchisee mastermind programs and assist franchisees with understanding their numbers and making business decisions based on their numbers and their business. But a couple things about FCI, and I see that we got some questions there. I'll get to them in a minute. They have the highest net promoter score in the industry. They scored an 82%, which completely outshines the industry average of 38%. Very interesting. Hey, so if you want to figure out if you should buy a franchise and learn the fastest and easiest way to figuring out the best franchise to buy and everything you need to know about the process, then you'll want to go get access to our Franchise Buyers Academy. In our Franchise Buyers Academy, you'll get a behind-the-scenes look into specific franchises and exactly how much money they are making. You'll get simple formulas for finding money-making franchises and a blueprint on how to scale them into a franchise empire that can be sold for a lot of money later on. You'll be able to finally answer the question on, should I buy a franchise? Now you can get access at franchiseempire.com/FBA. Now let's get back to the episode. Net Promoter Score, otherwise known as NPS, if you guys aren't familiar with it, it's like one of the easiest standards of getting like client satisfaction ratings. So you've probably been a part of it. It's those emails or texts that you get that say, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to recommend us to friends and family? And basically, I believe 8 through 10 is what's considered a promoter, or 7 through 10. And anything I think less than 7 is considered what's called like a detractor, in case you're wondering. And so actually it's something we use in our business. We survey all of our clients after, what is it, at this 90-day mark, and we ask them 60 or 90-day mark and ask them that same question. So number 2 is technology. They have a system that allows your design associates to create all sorts of custom options and use digital images of the customer's own rooms. Obviously, that's going to help with selling and converting. When people can see that what it looks like in their home, that's going to help them in making that decision. Fast startup, right? So this is one of the things we're talking about in service-based businesses is, and let me switch this over real quick. You can get up and running pretty quickly. No flooring experience needed. The ideal candidate has background in business, marketing, or sales, right? So you're going to really do well in this business, if you have a background in these areas overall. And yeah, flooring helps homes increase their home value. Wow, 106% of what they spend on the renovation. So that's a great selling point, when going into people's homes. So pretty cool. And my take overall is that, and I know we're in a weird economic time at the moment in the middle of an election season, but with the increased interest rates and home prices, home sales are down. So my perspective, and I don't have any solid data on this, but my hypothesis is that people are going to be more willing to make improvements on their home because they're probably not going to move. So if they were thinking, like as an example, my wife and we had only planned on staying in this house that we're in now for, I think our plan was like 2 to 3 years. Now we're approaching. We just passed year 4 now. We're not planning on moving anytime soon now. So now our plans are shifting. We're like, okay, well, redoing the backyard. Yeah, okay, now that's a realistic option. We actually have a bunch of scratches and things that on our hardwood. So that's something that now comes into the equation for us as well. Like, okay, like, do we want to redo our floors at any point? And so I think, as home sales are down, you'll see that people are gonna want to upgrade their homes essentially. So if guys, if you want to know if this specific franchise is available in your area, if you qualify, you can go to franchiseempire.com/check territory. At the bottom of the screen, you can schedule a free conversation with our team. And if you qualify, our team will go ahead and check to see if it's available in your area, or if you just want to have a conversation about what franchises may be available in your area that align with your budget and your skill sets. Go to franchiseempire.com/check territory right there. Bada boom, bada bing. Cool. And last but not least, and then I'll hop in a couple of the questions real quick, is I did a podcast with a guy that he opened up 13 juice bar locations and then franchised it. And pretty cool story. You don't really see this, guys. Before companies franchise, they may have like 1, 2, or 3 locations, and then they franchise it. To have 13 locations and then franchise it is very unique. So, yeah, it was really cool to be able to sit with Jorge, the co-founders of this particular brand, Movida, which means more life, and talk to him about how they've built this really cool business that they're now franchising. And we talk about how they did it, how they manage the stores and what they look for in locations. And all that good stuff. So you can look up Franchise Empire on YouTube. The podcast episodes are on a separate YouTube channel. It's the Franchise Empire channel, or wherever you listen to podcast. So whether Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any of those things, just look up Franchise Empire Show is what it'll be under, and you'll be able to see that. So let's take a look at some of these questions that we have. And again, I'm going to have to lean in pretty hard because my vision is off today. If you weren't here in the beginning, I'm wearing 10-year-old glasses because I scratched my eye. So, and these, I can barely see. Okay, let's see. Do you think that franchising or licensing is better for your brand when it starts bringing in serious cash flow? I don't have enough information. I think you asked this question before. I don't have enough information about your situation or business to be able to answer that. Franchising and licensing are just very different. If you want to have control over people having to use your logo and having to do things in a specific way and have protected territories, that's franchising. If they get to use your name but do it and operate on it in any way that they want and run their business however they want, then that's generally licensing. So as an example, CrossFit. When you see CrossFits, none of them are actually called CrossFit. If you haven't noticed that, they can all be called kind of their own different name. That's because they're a licensing opportunity, and all the CrossFit gyms are run differently. I actually think, I mean, it's an interesting way to pursue it. Can our team help with starting a new business, not just franchising and licensing? No, that's not. We're just specifically in the franchise space. Yes, we've had clients buy vending machine franchises. It's technically a license. It's technically not a franchise for the vending machine. But you can definitely, you go to franchiseempire.com/check territory and meet with them and have a conversation about that if you'd like. So they have more than just food brands. The food businesses are just the most popular ones. I don't understand your question there, PVZ. If you can elaborate on that. The wealth architect. How much effort are you truly putting into these franchises? I'd like to have it more as a passive thing. If you'd like to have it more as a passive thing, then don't buy one. Yeah, in order to be successful in business, you're going to have to put it. I know there's a lot of people selling the dream of passive income. The type of people that we work with are people that intend to be very involved in their business in the first 3 years, highly involved, and ideally full time in the first few years, because that's what we believe is necessary in order for you to succeed. There's a lot of people, franchise brokers, consultants, and just all sorts of things that'll sell you the dream of passive income. I just personally think it's a myth. It does not exist until you've put in the hard work and built the team and put in a lot of time and hours. So if you're looking for passive, I don't know, maybe real estate. But owning a business is not a passive thing. Were you ever able to run your Robex semi-absentee? My wife and I were ordered a franchise with a business partner. Speaking with current franchisees, worried about the turnover rate. I was able to run it semi-absentee, which some may say is passive. Yeah, but to be clear, we didn't start out that way. I intended to be very involved in the business, and for the first 8 months, I went there every day. I had actually left my job during construction to make sure that the store got opened. And for the first few months, I was there every day, and then I went back to work. It's a whole nother thing. Yeah, I mean, Sherrod, I don't know what business you're looking at. But yeah, I mean, if you're worried about the turnover rate, that's definitely something to be worried about. The best thing I can tell you is work with our team. We can help you find a franchise that has good turnover rate. Where franchisees are doing well. But if you're going in trying to be semi-absentee from the beginning, it's tough. It's tough, guys. It's tough, and you are going to put yourself at a way better chance of success by going full time in the business. What I tell people is go full time, spend a year doing that, and then go back and get a job after you put the foundation in place. Go learn the business. I understand everyone's not at the liberty of doing that. I just have a different perspective with all this stuff, and I know there's a lot of franchisors and just all sorts of people just saying, "Hey, semi-absentee, and you can run the business 5 to 10 hours a week." Guys, sometimes it happens, but few and far between. The people that are the most successful in not just franchises, but in business are the people who are working their ass off in their businesses. And yes, those people get to the point where after maybe 3, 5, 10 years, where they've done the right things, they've worked hard, they put together a good team, and maybe they don't have to work as much. But if you're not going to be in a position to be able to invest a lot of time and energy into the business, you probably just shouldn't do it. But that is not the best thing to say from a sales strategy perspective. But we rather work with better quality than quantity. That's kind of our philosophy. Let's see. Do you agree with most people that buying a CD store is a bad investment decision? CD, as in like old school CDs, or are you talking about? Did you mean to put CBD? And I don't know. Without looking at the numbers, I have no idea. Food brands being the only franchises that you work with. We don't work with food brands. Uh, yeah, we don't really work with food brands. Maybe there's 2 or 3. I think only one of our clients ever has bought okay, maybe 2 or 3 of our clients have ever bought a QSR, quick serve restaurant, or food related franchise. Generally speaking, we're helping people buy service based businesses. Hammer through the rest of these questions. I don't have any recommendations about unless I know you and your specific situation, and I don't make any blanket recommendations in terms of the type of franchises to buy. CDs, as in old school music disc. I mean, I don't know. I can't remember the last time I bought a CD, and I haven't heard anyone say the word CD in a while, so I probably I probably wouldn't. Yeah, that's just my own personal opinion. But all right, guys, I'm gonna rock and roll for the day. We got another hurricane coming this way in Florida, so hopefully everyone will be okay. All right, guys, you guys have a good one. Make sure to hit the like button before you rock and roll, so this video will be exposed to more and more people. And have a great week. Take care. Hey, before we go, thank you so much for listening to this episode. Please subscribe here on YouTube if you haven't already. And the biggest thank you that you could ever give me is to share this episode with someone who you think will benefit. That means that we can share this message with more people and hopefully positively inspire them like we have you. So thank you. And until next time, go build your empire.